So today I'm going to be doing a tier list video and I'm going to show you a little bit about what tiers I think all different property strategies are in. I'm also going to be ranking it in a way based on someone who's a complete beginner. So, depending on where I put development would be very different if you're a multi-millionaire tycoon investor or if you're a beginner who's just trying to get in property. So we're ranking it as a perspective of someone who's a beginner just trying to get in property. Let's go through it first. The first one I'm going to hit is property development, which is this one right here. I'm putting that straight in D tier. Reason being, for a beginner specifically, this is before people get upset, it's just not good. Like, there's so many mistakes you can make. It's going to be so hard to secure funding. It's going to be impossible for you to basically do it right the first time. Like, you should not go into property development if you are a beginner in property. Like, everyone knows that. Like, not straight off the bat. You need to get far more experience to begin with. That's where I'd start. It's very capital intensive. So what's a different strategy that might rank a little bit higher? Now, the next one we're going to go into is deal sourcing. I'm going to put this in B tier. The reason that it's B tier and not A tier or S tier is very simple in my mind as someone who's done a lot of deal sourcing. People will argue differently, but this is my opinion, obviously, is deal sourcing is good. You don't need a lot of upfront capital. You can find deals. But what people don't realize is it's not as easy as it sounds. It's a hard game. You find deals, they fall through all the time. Or you'll have a deal and you won't have a lot of investors. Or you'll have a lot of investors and you won't be able to find deals. It's not the easiest strategy. However, because there's very little capital required and you need to learn a skill and sell the skill, it makes it far more feasible for a beginner compared to like property development. So I really like the strategy, but I think it needs kind of some work, some tweaking, and you need to get very good at it. It's not something that's going to make you rich overnight like some people tell you it will. Now, next one is going to be HMOs. So this is kind of a two-pronged answer. HMOs can go in C tier or could go in A tier depending on which one you're doing. So buy to HMO would be in C tier. Again, purely just because of the capital upfront required. If you are going to do that, you need a large pot of money to refurb the HMO, set it up, buy it, whatever it is. But generally, HMOs are a lot higher cash flow than buy-to-lets. Now, if we were doing rent to HMO, I would put it in A tier because it's a great strategy. You don't need much money. You still need some startup capital. You can make a lot of money. It's more stable. It's great. So for the time being, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put it in B tier as a mix of the both. So you've got rent HMO, I put A tier. Normal HMOs, I put C tier for a beginner. Once you get more advanced, I would switch it around. Next one, auctions, straight in D tier. Because again, auctions, you have delayed completion times, very tight completion times, nothing that you can do. All the money needs to be up front. So you either need to have finance set up or you need to have it cash. You can make so many mistakes if you don't go through the legal pack, everything like that. I would never, ever tell a beginner to just start buying at auction. Now, BRR. BRR itself is an S tier strategy. When you have the money, when you have the finance, buying, refurbing, refinancing, this is how most people make their money in the property industry, and then they move on to developments. It's the same idea. You buy something, you buy land, you buy whatever, you add value to it, and then you try and pull money out and have the cash flow pay for it. So it's in itself as an S tier. For a beginner, I would put it in B tier. It's something you can do. You can do small flips, small kind of situations, and do the house up, try and sell it, or try and refurb it and then refinance it, rent it out again. But you need capital up front. You need probably minimum 50 to 100K, plus taking on some finance, plus working with investors, etc. There's a lot that can go wrong, but it's a great strategy to learn the foundations because if you get it right, it can work like a treat. Now, buy-to-let, as we all know, buy-to-let is hooning at the moment. It's a shocker. Buy-to-let, you are getting screwed by the Renters Reform Bill. You are getting screwed on interest rates. You're getting screwed on stamp duty. You're getting just screwed from every angle. Screwed by agents who are managing the property for like 10% and doing nothing. Like every single thing you could get screwed on, you're getting screwed on buy-to-let. It's the most vanilla, but it's probably the worst property strategy you could do. For a beginner, it's almost easier because you don't have to do a lot. But if you're actually looking to make money in property and quit your job and get cash flow, not what I would do. Now, rent to rent, where would I put this? Put it in A tier. So rent to rent is an A-tier strategy, rent to HMOs and rent to service accommodation. You don't need a lot of money up front. You can make really good cash flow and you can quit your job very quickly. If you kind of set this up in the right way, you can make money, you can secure properties, get them out on Airbnb, get them out as HMOs and start cash flowing very, very quickly. You know, you're looking at setup costs of around 3 to 5K. So they're not going to be massive, and you can start cash flowing and replace your 9 to 5 or whatever salaried income you have coming in very quickly. So that's why I'd say it's an A-tier strategy, and it's a very good strategy for beginners. But by far, last but not least, the best property strategy for a beginner is property management, and specifically Airbnb management. That's our S tier. Airbnb management, you can make 15 to 20% off a property. So if it makes 4K revenue, you take 15 or 20%, you're making between 600 and 800 pounds a month. That's as much as some people make on their rent to rents. You have no money down. It's highly scalable. You can outsource the delivery by a channel manager, VAs, all sorts of things. And it's highly scalable. And you just need to learn a skill of Airbnb management. The main thing you need to do is learn how to pitch and sell to landlords so that you can make money. It is by far the most scalable, it's by far the best as a beginner, and it's by far the highest profit margin as well. You're talking, 85, 90% profit margins. You're not going to get that with any of these other models. They're nowhere near as scalable. And if your goal is to get cash flow, to get out of your job, Airbnb management is the way to do it to begin with, because HMOs have lower revenues compared to Airbnbs. So Airbnbs are going to have higher revenues, which means that your commission is going to be higher, which is why you have to do Airbnb management. That's why it's the best strategy for beginners to go out, get started. Now, what you need to do to get started is get the knowledge. Once you have the knowledge, you know how to secure landlords, you know how to manage the properties, then you know how to outsource it to VAs, you can make a killing. And it's the gold rush right now. Right now, we're in the Airbnb gold rush. And this is what we go over with all my students and everyone who works with me on a closer level, is we go over how you secure properties, how you do it in a week. It's not the same as every other fucking person on Open Rent, and how you can make that work. Because right now, with the renters reform bill that's just come in, it's changed the whole landscape. More landlords are coming over to short-term lets. So there's more money to be made. So you need to make that money. So if you want to learn more, I would say click the link below and watch the next video how to start, structure, and set up your Airbnb management, and then book a call with me or my team, and we can give you a free strategy call as how everything would need to be set up.